This integrity session is for Spanish 101 web-based courses. Today, what we're going to be talking about are AR verbs in Spanish. In Spanish, all verbs either end in the letters AR, ER, or IR. All verbs in Spanish end in the letters AR, ER, or IR, which is a contradiction to English because in English, verbs can end in any letter of the alphabet. But in Spanish today, what we're talking about are AR verbs. Previously, in Lesson 1, what you learned were the pronouns. You learned that the pronouns in Spanish are yo, tú. The third set, él, ella, usted. This one was nosotros, or it can be nosotras, masculine, feminine. Then you have vosotros, or vosotras. And then the sixth set, you have ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Just like I told you in Lesson 1, these pronouns never change. They're always in this order no matter where you find them. Alright, well, we're going to talk about our AR verbs. And we're going to start with the most typical verb in Spanish, which is the verb hablar. Hablar meaning to speak. Alright, when you want to conjugate this verb, remember when we did the verb ser, we had to memorize a whole other verb. The verbs were soy, yo soy, tú eres, él es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos son. Here in Spanish, what you've got, AR verbs, I am looking on page 51 in the Vista 3rd edition book where you have a huge list of AR verbs. There are probably 20 or 30 verbs there listed. What we're going to be talking about is how to conjugate any of these verbs in this list. And what you can do is you can learn one rule for AR verbs, and you'll be able to conjugate almost any AR verb in Spanish, any verb that ends in the letters AR. What we're going to do for the yo form is we're going to take off the AR of that verb, and we're going to add the letter O. Yo hablo is I speak. So that ending is an O. The to form is going to be hablas. We dropped off the AR, we added an AS. You speak. For all three of these, it's going to be habla. So if you want to say he speaks, she speaks, or you formal speak, it's going to be habla. For the nosotros, it's going to be hablamos, AMOS. For the vosotros, it's going to be habláis. It has an accent over that A. And for this last one, ellos, ellas, and ustedes, you're going to use the word hablan. Ellos hablan, they speak. Ellas hablan, they speak. Or ustedes hablan, y'all or you all speak. So what we've done here is we've taken off the AR of that verb. We've put an O, an AS, an A, AMOS, AIS, and AN. Alright, so using those that we just said, O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS, and AN, you'll be able to conjugate any verb on page 51 or almost all verbs in Spanish that end in AR. Just by learning these 6 in this order, because you've already hopefully memorized your pronouns in order as well. Alright, so let's do this again. You've got yo, tú, then you've got él, ella, usted, then you've got nosotros, vosotros. And then the last ones again, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. You'll be tired of seeing this by the end of this lesson. Alright, so let's take another one. We'll take the verb out of one of those lists. We'll take the verb bailar. Bailar is to dance. So if you want to say I dance, what we're going to say is yo bailo. We're using that O. The two is going to be bailas. Él, ella, and usted is going to be baila. Nosotros is bailamos. Vosotros is bailáis. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes is bailan. So again, you have o, as, a, amos, ais, an, which is exactly what this is right here. So once you memorize these 6 in order, if you already have your pronouns over here listed in order, then you should be able to conjugate any of those verbs in that list. Alright, let me give you another example. On page 51, you have these verbs. You have bailar, buscar, caminar, cantar, cenar, comprar, etc. You have an entire list there, and again, I think there's around 30. Alright, what you have here, you've got the verb to dance, you've got the verb to look for, to walk, to sing, to have dinner or supper, to buy. Alright, notice every single one of these ends in the letters AR. So on any one of these, if you want to say I do any of it, which in Spanish you would say yo, then you would say yo bailo, that's I dance. Yo busco, I search for or look for. Yo camino, I walk. Yo canto, I sing. Yo ceno, I have dinner. Yo compro, I buy. Every single one ends in the letter O. The same thing if I want to take the nosotros and say we do any of these. If I want to say we do any, the we is A-M-O-S on the end, so we dance would be bailamos. We look for would be buscamos. We walk would be caminamos. We sing, cantamos. We have dinner, cenamos. We buy, compramos. Okay? So what we've done here is we've learned our pronouns in order, and then you learn the endings in order: o, as, a, amos, ais, an. And you'll be able to conjugate almost all verbs in Spanish that end in the letters AR. Again, you're going to do the same principle if you replace the pronouns with actual nouns. So if you say, for example, los chicos, the boys, we'll say the boys speak. To speak is going to be the verb hablar. Alright, if you want to say the boys speak, The boys is the same thing as saying they. So we're going to put an A-N on the end of that verb. So your sentence would be los chicos hablan. So you could say los chicos hablan mucho. They talk a lot or speak a lot. Or you could say los chicos hablan español. They speak Spanish. Or los chicos hablan inglés. They speak English. Or, for example, if you say Maria and you want to say Maria speaks, then your sentence would be Maria habla. The reason it ends in an A is because right here, ella is she. It's going to end in an A. Or if you want to say Maria and I speak, what you would say there is Maria y yo hablamos. Why is it hablamos? It's hablamos because when you say Maria and I, it's the same thing as saying we. We ends in AMOS with a verb that ends in AR. Once again, if you want to make any of these sentences negative, you always put the word no directly in front of the conjugated verb. So right here, to say the boys don't talk a lot, it would be los chicos no hablan mucho. If you want to say she doesn't speak, it would be Maria no habla. If you want to say we don't speak, it would be Maria y yo no hablamos. Alright, this concludes the integrity session for AR verbs.